And why did you decide to design a board game?
So Ananda and I, who I designed Twilight Struggle with, we were both playtesters for GMT. And we playtested some great stuff, Wilderness War, Volko's designs, older war games at this stage. Yeah. But they kept sending us stuff, and it kept getting longer and longer and longer. And believe it or not, Twilight Struggle was to claw the time back, because the games that we admired were 3 or 4 hours, We the People, the first CDGs, Wilderness War, Paths of Glory, and then they get going from 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours, and we're like, I've got a job, I've got kids, I can't play games this long anymore. So even though Twilight Struggle in modern times is a long game, at the time we designed it, it was to shorten playtime for war games. And that was our initial inspiration.
And why did you choose the Cold War?
Well,
is that something that always liked you in history?
Honestly, we started, our first design was going to be the Spanish Civil War.
Okay.
And because we think this card-driven approach is very applicable to kind of revolutions or internal conflicts, because they're political. And
Franco.
Yes, Franco, right.
Yeah.
Well, I started reading about the Spanish Civil War, and I realized I could spend the rest of my life reading about the Spanish Civil War and not quite understand all the politics of it. And so we're like, we need to change topics. And one of our friends suggested the Cold War. And since I'm old, I was like, yes, the Cold War is perfect. I know all the events. I lived through a bunch of them. And so that's how we got on the topic. I think we were also lucky because when the game finally came out, after 9/11 in the United States, there was a weird nostalgia for the Cold War, because the situation with terrorism made the world seem worse, more chaotic, more unpredictable, and the Cold War had a certain stability to it.
Okay.
Yeah, even if you hated the Russians, you knew how they operated. Whereas in the new world,
yeah, it's kind of weird. Or,
yeah, uncertain.